This trip begins like so many before, with a long plane ride from Seattle, this time to Tokyo's Narita Airport. The next morning, we board another plane that takes us to the northernmost of Japan's major islands, Hokkaido. We land at Kushiro on the eastern coast of the island, and then by bus to Tsurui, and then to the Taito Hotel, our base for the next 4 days. We tuck into the first of many great meals at the Taito, then fall into bed, suffering from jet lag. Tsurui is the wintering area for Hokkaido's resident population of red-crowned cranes. These cranes are revered in Japan as symbols of luck, longevity, and fidelity. They're an endangered species with less than 3,000 remaining in the world. 1,000 of those are here in eastern Hokkaido. So the Akan International Crane Center in Kushiro is the first stop for us. It's a popular place for photographers. We were here 3 times. The attraction is the 2 o'clock feeding time, when the cranes get fresh fish. But waiting in the trees and overhead are white-tailed eagles. The competition for the fish makes for great photography. All this makes for some great bird watching. The white-tailed eagles aren't the only competition for food. An occasional stellar sea eagle comes by for a snack. Black-eared kites look for an opportunity. Common ravens forage for scraps on the ground. The cranes are also fed corn, which is just fine with these Eurasian tree sparrows. The corn also attracts Hokkaido deer. They're a subspecies of sika or Japanese deer. As the sun gets low in the sky, we head to another popular location with photographers. It's an open field on the flight path between where the cranes spend their days and their night roosting spot. We're hoping for an interesting sunset that silhouettes the cranes in flight. Then back to Taito for another lesson in Japanese cuisine and a special dessert, crane egg. A white chocolate shell holding white cake surrounding a sweet bean paste yolk. Did I mention that it's cold here? That's minus 12 Celsius, or about 10 degrees Fahrenheit. Naoko, our guide, says that up this road is an owl. Off we go. We can see why he's always here. It's a perfect owl roost. Naoko calls him a Yezu owl after the old name for Hokkaido. It's a subspecies of Ural owl, only found here on Hokkaido. Our other favorite crane watching area is the Ito Crane Sanctuary. It's named after Ito Yashitaka, a farmer who started feeding a single pair of cranes in 1966. Now over 300 cranes visit the sanctuary in winter. The cranes are named for the patch of red, bare skin on the top of their heads, which gets bigger as they get older. They live 30 to 40 years in the wild and longer in captivity. They're among the largest cranes, 5 feet tall, 8-foot wingspan, and weigh about 17 pounds. Pairs mate for life, hence they are the symbol of fidelity for the Japanese. Juveniles will stay with their parents for 9 months. We often saw them flying in as a family. The pairs will perform duets. They have an elaborate mating dance. It's great to have the opportunity to spend some time with these rare and interesting birds. As the sun begins to set, the cranes fly off to the roost for the night. And we head back to Taito for another great dinner. We ask ourselves, why did we get up before dawn to stand in the cold on a windy bridge? For the cranes, of course. This is where they roost for the night. The Setsuri River is fed by hot springs, which keep the river from freezing over and make it relatively warm. Now the cranes are slowly waking up. Our time with the cranes has flown by, and it's time to see more of Hokkaido. Mori-san, our driver, loads our bags and we leave the Taito Hotel behind.